Bhaktivinda Swamitam Sri Chaitanya Prabhu Vande Nityananda Sahoditam Sri Nandananda Vande Sri Radhika Charanadhara Gopijana Smayukta Vrindavana Manoharam Sri Gauranga Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra Gadadhara Sivasi Gaura Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Jai Jai Sri Radhe. There's Arctic Mass class on Sri Radharani and Her Manjaris. We're discussing verse 103. And the last few verses, all the verses we've been discussing have the word Kripa and Kripa Mai, Kripa, Kripa. And this verse also has the word Kripa because at this juncture of his Vajan life, this is 103, Vilapa Kusumanjali. At this juncture of his Vajan life, Das Goswami is begging Radharani for mercy, he's begging Krishna for mercy, he's begging Radhakund for mercy. So begging for mercy is a big part of Bhakti Bhajan. Kripa Karo, Kripa Karo. So yesterday we heard how he's living, Das Goswami is surviving by hope. We had a phrase, Asha Jivan Lamban. Hope is maintaining my life. Asha Jivan Lamban. Hope is keeping me alive. So we discussed about the hope of a Manjari Sadhaka, which is exemplified by Das Goswami. Hope to get darshan Radharani in this life, hope to attain our Nitya Seva in this life, to see it, to experience it. And then yesterday we discussed the astonishing conclusion of Gaudiya Vaishnava worship. What was the astonishing conclusion? Conclusion means Siddhanta. Anta means the end of Tattva, the conclusion, the final point. Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta. What is Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta? Here's what Natas explains. I don't want Krishna. I don't even care about Krishna. I don't care about Vrindavan. I don't care about Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. All I care about is Radharani. Without Radharani, I don't even care about Krishna. So everyone chanted that in harmony yesterday. Everyone together said, we don't care about Krishna. And that's been recorded by Yamaraj and all his secretaries of Chitragupta. So we'll find out at the last moment, you'll eat your words. No, don't worry, Radharani will be there. Take care. So that was the idea yesterday. It was about hope and loyalty of the Manjaris and the Bhavalas Rati of the Manjaris, exemplified by such intense attachment and fixation on Radharani. So this is text 103. Chan Chet Kripa Mai Duki Tayam Naivatanor Atitaram Kim Iha Pralape Twadkunda Madhyam Abitat Bahukalam Eva Samsevyamanam Kim Abikim Nu Karishyatiha. O Kripa Mai Radharani. Kripa Mai Kripa Mai Duki Tayam. Kripa Mai Kripam Duki Tayam. Radharani, you're made of Kripa and I'm made of Duki. You're made of mercy and I'm made of misery. Misery or mercy, what's the choice? We don't have any choice in the matter. We're all miserable without choice. If everyone had a choice, it wouldn't be miserable. But we can't escape misery because Krishna made the world that way. Why? To wake us up, teach us. This is not a nice place. If this was Swarga, then we wouldn't want to get out. We'd be happy. But it's not Swarga, it's Mritya Loka. Mritya Loka is full of misery, ignorance, and suffering. Prakriti Stani Karshati. We're stuck in Prakriti, Maya Jagat, and we're struggling to avoid pain, avoid misery, and find happiness. Actually, the definition of happiness in the material world is simply removal of distress. I'm being pushed by the different vegams. My tongue is pushing me, my mind is pushing me, all my five senses are pushing and pulling me. And if I get some relief, momentary relief, or some satisfaction from that relief from that pushing or pulling, then we say I'm happy. We're being pushed by our stomach, I'm hungry, then you eat some opulent tasty food, and you say, oh, now I'm happy. Because my hunger pains are gone. The whole thing of material life is removing pain and defining removing pain as happiness. It's a real trick of Maya. Everywhere there's an itch. It's funny because in Sanskrit the word for desire is icha. I-C-C-H-A, itcha. And in English there's the word I-T-C-H. I-T-C-H. It doesn't mean International Transport Company. Haryana. It means ITCH, International Transport Company, Haryana, itch. Our tongue itches, our belly itches, our genitals itch, and we want to scratch them, or somebody scratch them for us. And it's just a joke. You scratch too much and you get bleeding. So that's what happens. Bleeding means you're dying. Your sin, when you're bleeding, your sins are coming out. Draupadi Mata, she was smiling when Bhishma was dying. Bhishma was lying on a bed of arrows, bleeding to death on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And everyone gathered around, all the Pandavas, Kauravas, Yadavas, to bid farewell to Bhishma Dev. And Draupadi was there, and all the women were there, and they had their heads covered with their veils, dopata. And no one could see Draupadi, but Draupadi was smiling. The only one that could see Draupadi smiling was his fellow lying on the bed of arrows. Everyone else was standing up. And they looked at Draupadi, they saw someone with their face covered. But if you're lying on the ground looking up, you can see what's under the veil, what's under the dopata. What was under the dopata was the smiling face of Draupadi. Why is she smiling? Bhishma asked a question to her. Beta, everyone's crying because I'm dying. But you're smiling. Why are you smiling? He said, I find it very strange, Draupadi said. When I was suffering, getting disrobed in the assembly, you didn't say anything. And now you're on a bed of arrows and you're speaking so much tattva. Mahabharata, there's a whole chapter called Bhishma Parva. Bhishma Parva is the Shiksha of Bhishma lying in a bed of arrows, speaking Dharma, Sanatana Dharma. The highest principles of Dharma and morality and religion are being spoken by Bhishma Pitamaha while he's lying on a bed of arrows. And Draupadi says, you're saying so much about Dharma now, but you didn't say anything to even save my chastity in that public assembly. So I find it funny. Now you're talking a good talk, but when it was needed to speak about Dharma and establish Dharma, you're a Maharati, you're not just a cheap soldier, tin soldier. You're a Maharati. Single-handedly you can fight 10,000 elephants. with warriors on top of them. It's called Maharati. 10,000 warriors riding elephants, armed with swords and daggers and clubs. You can fight them and defeat them. But you couldn't defeat one Shikuni, what was it, Shikuni? Somebody disrobing? Dushasan. You couldn't fight one weakling Dushasan in that assembly. So what gives, as we say? What gives? What's it all about? He says, Beta, Draupadi, Beta. The thing is, see, I'm lying in this bed of arrows. My body is like a pin cushion. You have a little cushion that's shaped like a tomato. You put your pins in it. So my body is like a cushion to put pins inside. Store your pins. So all my blood dropped out of my body. So with all my blood all dropped out of my body, all my sins went out. Because when your blood goes out of your body, your sins go out of your body. So he said, my main sin was I was eating food from the hand of Duryodhana. I was being supported by Duryodhana and being paid by him, eating his food. So I took on all his offenses and all his sins came inside me. So I couldn't speak any Dharma at the time we were disrobing because I was full of sin. And sinful people can't speak Dharma. Because the power of speech is the goddess of fortune, goddess of speech is Saraswati, and in one form Saraswati is a wife of Vishnu. There's a spiritual Saraswati who's wife of Vishnu. So Saraswati will not come out of the mouth of someone who's a sinful person. Dharma uvacha, not possible. Now all my sins are drained out, and now I can speak about Dharma. So I'm speaking Vishnu Parva. So Draupadi's okay, good idea. So, pain, no gain. There she is, star of stage and screen, Radhika. Nice, good addition. Chota Gopi. Choti Gopi. Sannyasi Baba. Jayo. So let's read the translation to verse 103 of Vilapa Kusumanjali. He says, "Oh Kripa Mai Radharani, if you're not, don't give me Kripa, then I'm finished. If you're not kind to me, Tvam Kripa Mai, you're made of Kripa, Kripa Mai Dukitayam, but if you don't give Kripa to me, I'll stay Duki, I'll stay miserable." Oh, it's interesting. He's praying as a girl now. You got it? He is praying as a girl. Oh, that's interesting. He, Raghunatha Das, is praying as Sosi Manjari, a girl. I'm suffering. I'm a suffering girl. Anyway, any suffering girls out there? Raise your hand. Nobody? I don't believe you. So this suffering girl is saying, if you're not kind upon me, Kripa Mai Radharani, what was the use of all these lamentations? The whole book full of them. Vilapa Kusumanjali, a handful of flowers, lamenting flowers. Like we used to have a thing we did when we were kids. We would take a dandelion. Dandelion is a little yellow flower, like a weed. And we pick off one petal and say, "She loves me," and throw it on the ground. And we pick another one and say, "She loves me not." And we keep going until we get the last one, what the verdict was. You get the last one, "She loves me not." Then you take the thing and throw in the air and say, the Hare Krishna. I'm moving to the temple now. There's no prospect for me out here in dandelion world. So each petal is a fortune cookie. So your fortune cookie is going to give you good news or bad news. You go to a Chinese restaurant and you open the fortune cookie. In the next full moon, you'll find your fortune. I'll say. Don't believe your fortune cookies. She loves me not. Remember that. If you say she loves you, you can also say she loves you not. So you have 2 ears. One to hear no and one to hear yes. So don't have to block your right ear and say your ears are blocked. When she said, "I don't love you," get lost. So Das Goswami is saying, listen, I offer you 100 Lamentations. This book of Vilapa Kusumanjali, I offer you 100 Vilaps. 100 Vilaps. Vilap 1, Vilap 2, Vilap 3, Vilap 4. And I'm not getting a response. I'm still suffering. Duki tayam. Atitaram. Atitara means very excessively. Dukitaya atitaram. Oh my Vilap Pralap, he says Pralap means the same as Vilap. Trat Kunda Madhyam, I'm in the middle of your kund. What was the use of all my lamentations? What was the use for me writing this book? What was the use of all my service? Some Sevyamanam. Some means variety of many different kinds of seva I've done. I did video recording, I did cooking, I did translation. What's the use of it all? I'm still miserable. I'm still dukitam. Dukitam atitaram. I quit. Back to Siberia. I was a famous bear wrestler in Siberia. Thousands of people would come and pay hundreds of rubles to see me wrestle bears. So I'm going back to Siberia to wrestle bears. That's more fun than cooking sabji and roti on banks of Radharani. So this is not good. So he's really unhappy. He himself, he wrote so many lamentations in this book, and this verse, next to the last verse, 103, he's also lamenting. After writing a whole book of lamentation, how do you feel? Like you write 101 love poems. After you write the love poems, you feel lovely. So you write 100 lamentations. Sir, you wrote 100 lamentations. How do you feel? I'm really lamenting. I feel lamentable. Oh, that's commendable. I commend you on your lament. So this is the situation here. We also may feel like that to some extent. Radharani, when are you going to give me mercy? You're Kripa Mai. I'm Dukkha Mai. What do we say? Parama Karuna Pavandu Ijana. The tiger is trying to so there's the lines Ram Duki or Suki. Ami Bara Duki. Mahaprabhu Nityananda. Premananda Suki. Kripa but I'm not seeing you, so I'm Bara Duki. I'm very unhappy, very miserable. But you're absorbed in prema, you're Sukhi. I'm Duki. You're Sukhi Dasi. I'm Duki Dasi. You're Cookie Dasi. Juice Chori Dasi. I got fingerprints all over that room. And they all match yours. We finally discovered the juice chori. 36 boxes of juice. Now there's 2 left. We can trace them out. Come on. Tadati Pradigrinati, Bhukte Bhojate Cheva. These are 6 symptoms of loving sentiments. Giving prasadam, receiving prasadam. Now she's boycotting you. Watch out.
Sofa.
Her sofa. Okay, that's. Can we have a little attention now? The main act is taking the star position here. Raghunatha Das is expressing intense eagerness and hankering for Radharani. He's the greatest example of eagerness and hankering for Radharani. A person who does not practice any bhajan cannot possibly understand the anguish that Das Goswami feels in separation from Radharani. So when you do bhajan, if you're not doing bhajan, if you're not doing Raghunatha bhajan in the mode of aspiring Manjari of Radharani, it's very hard to relate to or identify with Das Goswami. He seems so miserable, so unhappy, so much crying, so much unhappiness. They say it takes one to know one. So when you start to follow in the footsteps of Raghunatha Das Goswami, and identify with his struggle, identify with his bhajan, identify with his humility, and identify with his submission to Srimati Radharani, then you can start to feel something of what he feels like. Crying for mercy, begging for mercy, hoping for mercy. These are the words that are used here. Begging, hoping, asha, bara, kripamai, dukitam. Because usually in the material world, people want to read success stories. 7 habits of successful people. Well, how do people become successful? They always smile, although they're miserable. And they always speak positively. How are you? A boat party, a bilkul, everything first class, international, transcontinental. All lies. Lies, lies, lies. You tell a lie long enough, it becomes true. I'm beautiful, I'm beautiful, I'm beautiful. After a while, somebody in the market will pick up and say, you're beautiful. Oh, I'm glad you agree. I've been telling myself that for 100 years. Now finally some drunken rickshaw recognized that I was beautiful and said, you're beautiful. And I cherish the words of that drunken rickshaw like anything. That's your eraser? No wonder he has a pink nose. It's a pig with a pink nose. You're using pink crayons and using them to wipe your crayons off. That's like brahmacharis when they eat sweet rice and all mustaches covered with sweet rice. Okay, enough of that. Don't peek out on the camera. Come on, you knucklehead. Okay. So in the material world, the role models are fake people with plastic smiles. These are the role models. Who are the role models in the material world? Fake people with plastic smiles and plastic money. Master charged gold. Bank of America Platinum card. Not bad. Citibank Platinum card. Not bad. 3-4 cards, you got the whole universe in your hand. But our role models are people that are crying. People lamenting and crying and collapsing, going unconscious. These are our role models. Our role models are grown men that are crying and sobbing and crying their tears out like they just lost their son or daughter or their wife. But none of these things are making them cry. It says Das Goswami's wife was more beautiful than Lakshmi Devi. It says in Chaitanya Charitamrita. But he walked out and left her behind to go to Krishna. So our role models, especially in Rag Marg, the role models in Mandri Bhav Sadhana, especially is Das Goswami, because he is the most candid autobiographer of the 6 Goswamis. Most of the 6 Goswamis don't write about their agony and their struggle to the degree of transparency and honesty, not honesty, but transparency and revelation of Das Goswami. Rupa Goswami wrote a very important collection of poems and verses called Stavavali, and the sister book of that book is Stavavali by Das Goswami. But the intensity of emotions and intensity of anxiety and anguish and agony of Das Goswami is unsurpassed, unequaled in the whole history of Vaishnavism. And all that has happened because he was personally with Lord Chaitanya for 16 years, and during Antya Leela, Gambhira Leela, and Lord Chaitanya showed the Himalayan peak of separation from Krishna and Radha Mahabhava Radharani. So you see such intense feelings and such intense love, pure Krishna Prema Bhav. Because seeing is one thing, feeling is another thing. Because if you're, as it says in the beginning of Bhagavatam, the Bhagavatam is for 2 kinds of people. Two kinds of people can appreciate the Bhagavatam. This is in the first 5 verses of chapter 1 of the Bhagavatam. Rasika Bhavuka. Rasika Bhavuka. Bhavuka means one who has feelings. Rasika means one who has taste. One can taste and understand the feelings of another person. So Das Goswami was such an elevated soul. He not only saw the Mahabhava, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he felt it. And by feeling that love and seeing that love, he experienced that love, and that love became his own love. Just like the mother is crying. The mother just had a big fight with her husband. The husband ran out of the house just before the child came home from school. And the child gets into the house, he sees his mother collapsed on the living room couch, crying her eyes out. And the child goes and sits next to mother. He says, "Mommy, why are you crying?" And the mother is so much crying she can't respond. She's too much in pain and too much miserable. And so the daughter, she has some feelings. So she does what her mother used to do to her when she cried, because she learned a lesson from her mother. She goes and she puts her hands on her mother's head, and she kind of goes like this on her mother's head. And says, "Don't cry, Mommy. Everything will be all right." She uses the same mantras that her mother used on her. Well, the mother keeps crying. So then the daughter just sits there and looks at the mother and starts crying. Because the feelings of the mother entered the heart of the daughter, and she became one with those feelings, what she saw, what she felt, and she also started crying. Not even knowing the cause of why her mother was crying, but she was feeling the feelings of her mother. She was feeling the anguish and agony of her mother. And so she identified with that and cried. So imagine Das Goswami, what he's seeing, what he's feeling from Mahaprabhu's and his Antya-lila and Gambhira. So we're the third one in the parampara. First is Gauranga Mahaprabhu and Radha's Mahabhav. Then the second one in the parampara is Das Goswami, experiencing it, seeing it, feeling it. And now we're the third one in the parampara. We're reading about Das Goswami, what he saw, what he felt. And what is our response? Nothing?
Nothing?
Something? I love this kid. She's beautiful. So we should have something, not nothing. We should be some prabhav, some influence, some effect on somewhere in some far dark corner of our black heart. Some ray of light, some ray of lamenting, some ray of identifying with the heart and mind and love of Das Goswami. Das Goswami is not able to tolerate the pangs of separation from Radharani anymore. He repeats the prayer, second translation, Anantadas 103. O Kripamayi Swamini, O merciful mistress, I am such a sad girl. If you don't bestow your mercy upon me, then what is the use of all my lamentation? What is the use of this whole book I wrote? I lived by your Radhakund for so long serving it. If you don't reveal yourself, you don't give me darshan, what is the use of all that seva? So the disciple is doing so much seva to the guru. So what happens? The guru gives his darshan and gives his heart to the disciple. So that's what Das Goswami is praying for. He's praying for darshan and heart of his guru. His Manjari praying guru, his Sakhi praying guru is Radharani. She is his guru, she is his everything. So Das Goswami Tulsi Manjari is serving her guru. Now she's demanding, she's praying, she's crying for darshan and love. Darshan without love is not full darshan. Love without darshan is not full love. So darshan and love is full darshan. That's why it's called prasanga. Prasanga seva means seeing the guru and feeling the love of the guru, which is received when one serves the guru. If you don't serve the guru, you may have darshan of the guru, but you don't feel the love of the guru. Because why do you serve the guru? Because of love. If you have no love, why should you serve? The base of service is love. Love means service. They say Krishna Bhakti. It means love of Krishna. So we're serving him. Like she's serving. And he says more, this miserable suffering person bows down humbly at Radharani's feet, considering Radharani to be the only goal of his life. He continually weeps loudly, cries loudly, and pitifully begs, O Queen of Vrindavan, be merciful to me. Allow me in your party. Party means your Sakhi Gan, your group of, your Yuta, your group of Sakhis. Not party like fun party. But it's also a fun party. Girls get together, naturally it's going to be a party. Laughter, singing, joking, eating all kinds of food, dancing around, acting silly. That's a girls' party. So when all the Sakhis get together, they laugh and they dance and they act silly. They tell jokes about Krishna. Remember that time we were talking about Krishna, making fun of him? We thought he was totally asleep in the kunja. And then the Lita Sakhi caught it, one eye was open. He was hiding under a shutter. And it was one eye she saw underneath the shutter looking at us. We thought he was sound asleep, so we made so many terrible jokes about the guy. And he was listening to every word we said. Oh no. So this is a particular type of leela. It's called Chalak Sasuti or something like that. Sasuti means sleeping, and Chalak means cheating. Cheater, sleeper. Cheater, sleeper. Cheating, sleeping. Eavesdropping. Maharaj said this. Babaji wrote. That's what they really think? Oh my God. So what is the use of all this? With great humility, Das Goswami says, Ha Kripamai, you are the embodiment of boundless grace. I am just a suffering girl. Suffering people are usually the objects of your compassion. Therefore, show compassion to me and give me your seva. Kripamai Radharani. Okay. Station break. Advertising stuffed animals. Relationship between humility and love. First question, there's two questions we can ask at this juncture. Do you have any humility? And do you have any love? Because that's the starting point. If we want to discuss the relationship between humility and love, it means you must have some contact or some understanding what is humility and what is love. Otherwise you say, what the hell are you talking about? I know about pride. I know about pride and exploitation. I'm good at that. I'm made for that. I'm made to be proud and exploit you. But humility and love, what? What world are you from? You're from Mars or Venus or where are you from? You're talking crazy talk. You're not from Earth's planet. Everybody on the Earth only knows about pride and exploitation. You rub my back, and I'll say thanks. Hey, what about rub my back? Forget it, man. My hands don't work that way. You rub my back, and that's good. Come back tomorrow and rub my back again. Yeah, you don't rub your back, you'll get a crack. So what is the relationship between humility and love? Of course, it's all hypothetical, remember. Because we don't have any humility, we don't have any love. So it's just like some hypothetical discussion about people in the spiritual world. Just think of it like that. Those people far away. Humility manifests within one when praying becomes ripe. Since the gopis love Krishna the most, they're also the most humble. In the same way, praying becomes manifest when humility grows in the heart. In this way, love and humility are each other's cause and effect. The cause of love is humility, and the cause of humility is love. The effect of love is humility, and the effect of humility is love. So there's an intimate relationship between humility and love. So this is a nice point that's being made. Relationship between humility and love. So now, believe it or not, we have mostly been prayers. That's mostly been prayers. So this is the end of the Vilapa Kusumanjali. Mostly it's prayers. But now there's a small leela, not just the small leela narrated by Nanda Gopal Goswami. He's big on leelas. my co-star, actor. Only one edition, thank God. So in this verse 103, there's a phrase, Tvat Kundam Madhyam Seyamanam. I've been staying at Radhakund for 50 years doing so much seva. So Radharani, don't you recognize all the time I spent here in Radhakund crying for you and serving you? I did so much Manasi seva. So Ananda Gopal Goswami meditated on that phrase in verse 103 and saw Leela to support this idea, Sevamanam. When Das Goswami said I did so many sevas, was an example of the sevas he did, or he did in his Siddhasru at Sasi Manjari. Because he says, Kunda Madhyam. So Madhyam means in the middle, like Madhya, in the middle of your kund. But it can mean just on doing bhajan at Mahasapavan Ghat, which is on the Sangam, which is kind of between Radhakund and Shamakund. So that can be also the middle of Radhakund. But Ananda Gopal Goswami took Madhyam Kundam to mean in the middle of Radhakund, means inside Radhakund. You understand? I did say in the middle of the lake. Middle of the lake means in the water. So he said, one time at noontime, Radharani was swimming and having Jal Keli in Radhakund with Krishna and all the gopis. Jal Keli Bihar. But one of her toe rings slipped off in the water. In his spiritual body, Siddhadeha as a Manjari, Tulsi Manjari, put on her diving goggles. No. Put on her scuba tanks. No. They don't need it. They're good divers. Like pearl divers of Peru. They go underwater with no tank for 10 minutes. So Manjari dived under the water for a long time until she found Radharani's toe ring and slid it back on her toe, all underwater. All while she was underwater, she found the toe ring. Radharani felt someone holding her toe. Just imagine what that would be like. You swim underwater, you find a toe ring, then you turn around, you see Radharani's feet moving, and you go grab her foot underwater and slip out her toe. What a cool feeling. And Radharani, because you're underwater and her foot's underwater, Radharani waves her foot at you. So like say thank you. You're underwater and you're on your way up, you look back and Radharani's foot's going. Like thank you. Maybe, I don't know. I see it like that. If I did it, I would touch Radharani's feet. I would be shivering in ecstasy, of course. But Radharani's foot might go like, bye-bye. Or you wave bye somebody. Bye-bye, Saki. So foot wave. It's called ambidextrous, you know? Ambidextrous means you can bat with your left hand or right hand. Most people can throw the ball with the right hand, they can't throw the ball with the left hand. But ambidextrous, you're equally coordinated right and left hand. Some guys can play guitar with left hand or right hand. Not bad. So this is the toe ring Leela. So, remembering this service, he now prays, be kind to me, and Radharani bless me to give me direct service to your lotus feet. We won't say whose daughter she is because we don't want to embarrass the mother. There's a good chance it's this lady right here. So I hope. Her mother's a karate expert, and her mother's friend is a ballerina. So you put them together, that's what she's trying to do. So this is text 103. You like what you see? Is that good? Oh, Kriva Radharani, if you're not merciful to me, this suffering girl, then what is the use of all my lamentations and all my seva to Radhakund for so long? This is text 104, the last verse of the book. Then tomorrow we'll start Radharani. We already covered many verses, but we'll go through all the verses we haven't covered. It's about 200 verses. We've done about 70, 80 verses. Text 104. Ai pranaya shalani pranaya pushta dasyaptaye prakamam atirodane prachura dukkha dagdatmana Vilapa Kusumanjali Ridi Nidaya Padambuje Maya Bata Samarpitas Tava Tanotu Tushtim Manak. O Pranaya Shalani. Shalani means a house of, abode of. We say Goshala. Shala means the place of the cows. So like sometimes we say, you're a Bhagyashali. Bhagyashali means your life is very fortunate. Bhagyashali. So Pranaya Shalani means you're a house of love. You're an abode of love. So this is translation of 104. Das Goswami is praying to Radharani. O Pranaya Shalani, I'm loudly crying. Prakamam ati rodane. Rodane means crying. Ati means excessively, loudly crying. I'm crying with a desire. Usually people cry with a desire. Like kids. Why are you crying? Your mother said. Because I want a new toy. Why are you crying? Because I want ice cream. Or whatever. They cry for many things. Crying is a big thing with kids. That's the first thing kids learn. They come out of the womb crying. And it keeps on going. Then they get married and they cry some more. Then they get unmarried and then they also cry. So you get married, you cry before you get married, you cry when you're married, you cry after you're married. So don't get married, just cry. Save yourself a lot of trouble. Crying is going to be there from birth to death. But crying alone is more fun. Cry to Bhagavan. Hey Bhagavan, wham, wham, wham. I'm crying with a desire to attain your service, Radharani. I'm holding your lotus feet to my heart, which is burning out of intense agony. I'm offering these lamentations to you as a bouquet of flowers, Kusumanjali. May they be the cause of even the slightest satisfaction to you. Tanotu tushti, manak. Manak means slight. Tushti. So that's the whole bhav of a sadhaka. Every sadhaka is rendering some seva, doing some seva. But every sadhaka, sadhu or sadhvi, feels that my seva is insufficient. My seva is insufficient, and my seva is insignificant. But I hope somehow you get a manak tushti, you get some slight satisfaction from my seva. This is a mood of humility. Again, this word has dukkha in it, dukhi. Dukhi dagdam, burning in misery. Prachura duk. Prachura means lots of. Profuse. A heavy duk, heavy misery, a lot of misery. So I'm crying a lot. Prakama Matiroda. I'm excessively, deeply crying. To attain the service of Radharani. We can ask ourselves this question. How long have I been practicing bhakti bhajan, devotional service, and how much have I cried to attain the service of Radharani? Have I cried for 1 minute in the last 10 years? Have I ever cried even one time in the last 10 years? This is some good idea for self-introspection. But introspection, everybody does introspection. Introspection means to look inside. Intro means inside, and spection means like spectacle, means to see inside. But when most people see inside, all they see is their mind. They see their mind and their samskaras, which is their conditional existence. They don't do self-introspection. Self-introspection means to look inside and see the Atma, to see the self. So if we try, if we ever have seen ourself, we'll understand what a lamentable, pitiful condition our self is in. So we genuinely do self-introspection, then we'll get a glimpse of reality. We'll get a glimpse of eternality. And then we can begin to walk on the path of Bhakti Bhajan. So that's why sadhus and acharyas always tell disciples it's very important to spend time doing self-introspection, not chanting your head off in kirtan and doing useless puja for 20 hours. Meditation and smaran are the most important aspects of any yoga. Whole purpose of every yoga is to come to samadhi, which means everything is fixed on one point. So one point for a bhakti yogi is the lotus feet of Radharani. So how close am I to those Sri Radharani? How much am I seeing them? How much have I cried to see them and cried to serve them? This question you can answer yourself. You may be embarrassed by the answer. Or you may feel shameful by the answer if you get a true answer. But it's never too late to start to get serious about Bhakti Bhajan. Das Goswami prays. Although I'm an unworthy maidservant of yours, I still can't give up hope. So we also feel like that. We feel I'm unworthy servant, but I don't give up hope. Ashabandha, we said yesterday, I'm bound by hope. We have a Mount Meru of samskars in our heart, of all wrong desires and lusty desires and greed and envy, anger, so many dark and dirty, dangerous things inside of us. But what to do? This is our life. This is the assets we collected over many thousands of lifetimes in the material world. We collected a big treasury called Anartha Kosh. Anartha Kosh. Kosh means treasury. Kosh. A big city bank of anarthas. But we have hope. We're in the well. We're in the bottom of a 1 kilometer deep well. Grihamanda Kubam. But some kind person has thrown us a rope. Hold on to the rope, Jack. I'm too weak. You have to help me hold on. My hands are up here. You're 1 kilometer down there. You have to use your own, at least you have to hold on to the rope with your own hands. If you hold the rope, I'll pull it. Oh, but you're so light, I'm so heavy. No problem. You forgot my name. Guru. Guru means heavy. Doesn't mean fat. Means heavy with kripa. This is the real power. Physical strength is not power. Real power is power of love and mercy. If they're combined with and dipped in humility, then you have a pure bhakti. Love and mercy coated with humility. This is pure bhakti. So he's saying, I'm unworthy, but I'm not giving up hope. But I have to give up giving class because I'm over time. We'll continue tomorrow. Jai Jai Sri Radhe. Jai Sri Radhe.